For me, today I will show you how to form Ultra Germany. So basically all German-speaking countries except Great Britain and the USA, we will form a very big state. For this we are going to choose Austria, since Austria has some puppets which are removed when we form Germany with another country. So the first thing we're going to do is to start our basic setup. First thing we're going to do is set up our construction cycle. We are going to build a lot of banana plantations in India. For this we are going to give them some company monopolies and some no tariffs and no subventions until we are able to get a treaty. Ideally, it is possible to get it without transferring any money. This looks fine, so let's send it. We can also declare rivalry later. And yeah, we're going to rival Ottoman Empire and Spain to get the extra influence. We're also going to revoke the defensive pact with Prussia, since we want to go to war with them. We will also set up the power block embassies in every German-speaking country, Also check for 15 years, because until then we should have the influence really high. For Belgium, it is really impossible to have as much leverage as we can get, since Great Britain will influence them very, very strong. So we want to get every treaty which is positively affecting our leverage, even though it costs some money. And yeah, it isn't that bad. 2000 we will gain through the banana plantations, and also check for 15 years, since they are probably to renounce the treaty. Yeah, I think it's everything we can get. For the Dutch are also very likely to join the power block, so we don't need to get that. The big treaty. Yeah, investment rights, power block embassy, 15 years, it is important. Next up is Sweden. Everything as usual, and they will also accept it for 15 years. The next thing we're going to do is to increase the relations with Krakow and Hungary. Krakow starts with a negative relations, which will negatively affect the cohesion of our power block. So we're going to get it up, so we can influence even better. Also upgrade all the production methods, even though they are not really supplied like the tools. Yeah, get also the universities do the best production method to increase our science output, and we're going to water tube boilers directly into pan-nationalism for the diplomatic play. We are also able to choose the first company. We're going with the food company because we like the extra 5% buff rate. The next up, we're going to increase the taxes in the beginning. We will decrease it later on when we have revenue from the banana plantations. And another thing we should do is start enacting the first law. We need cultural exclusion, since we have some not really accepted pops in other states, which will decrease the cohesion of our power block. We are also enacting road maintenance and greener grass campaign in Bohemia, since this will be our primary GDP state. We're building some infrastructure and some tooling workshops with steel mills. And yeah, now we will check if every treaty is come to action. And we will also declare rivalry against Great Britain for the extra influence. And we're going to get another treaty with Russia for some relations. And the plan is to build some banana plantations in India. So we're going with around 120, since this is a really good amount when the cost of banana isn't that high, and also the construction cost is not that bad. Yeah, we're going to revoke some treaties so we get even more influence. Primarily those with the Italian states, since we can't culture swap them. We nearly finished the enactment of cultural inclusion, but got a coup, which it's really close actually. But we will manage to just skip it by enacting another law like legal guardianship, which is also not that bad in the beginning because of that extra buff rate, as mentioned. And yeah, let's find the general which is responsible and arrange an accident. And now the coup should begin. But we will still enact legal guardianship because then we get the landlords really happy and we are able to enact some another laws. We're also going to side with the Netherlands in the London conference because we want to weaken Belgium to become a little bit weaker and be more influenceable by us. We also researched the next production methods for the mines. And yeah, let's set the taxes and decrease the government wages so we can build even more constructions like this and get that flow up. After enacting legal guardianship, we are going for appointed bureaucrats or something else. Yeah, we can write to associate to befriend the German nationalist movement. And yeah, we are back and it's almost 1940. So we're going to transfer one of those two German states from Russia to us. This will require us to have being a little bit better influenced here. So we're going to move our fleet over there, and then we should be able to get investment rights to get some positive acceptance criteria from company monopolies. Let's check the power block, and we are able to invite our first country and also Denmark. And now we are able to get investment rights, so we will set the treaty up. This is our final treaty. We will give them the money. We don't really give them too much, but it's fine. And now we should be the owner of the Baltic states. Since our relation with Belgium is now high enough, we are now able to get then divestments for even more leverage. And also with Sweden, we want to get as much leverage as possible by signing some treaties. Now we have enough leverage to invite Belgium. We will still need to wait for Sweden to join before we invite Netherlands, because they will decrease the cohesion of our power block by a lot, since they're the owner of the Dutch East Indies. I also noticed that our treaty with Great Britain was too short. I forgot to put it on 15 years. So we are not going to get some banana plantations. But I think it's fine, we have like around 60. But keep in mind to increase the lifetime of the treaty to at least 10 years to build even more banana plantations. This will really hit our budget, but it should be fine. It is now almost 1842, a little bit too late to start the war, to liberate Pomerania and Westphalia. We need to have Russia on our side, because when they join other sides, we are not able to win the war. And yeah, it should sometimes be all possible to call them in as alliance, but we are going to use obligation, since we're giving them one obligation anyway because of our treaty. And yeah, this is the war goals you need to get Prussia to a minor power We will also increase our military spending to win the war more quickly. We will also now enact upon the bureaucrats. And I think we need some conscripts because our favor is not really that high. We also are now able to conscript some skirmish infantry, which is very nice because you definitely need them against the unification play against France. We nearly won the war, but we get some mortality reduction. And yeah, the war should now be resolved. It's almost 5 years ago since we signed a treaty with Russia. So let's revoke it and create a new one. This is a treaty which they will accept, with some money of course. And we can now spread our primary culture to the first power bloc members. Ideally, you would have gotten the Baltic states a little bit earlier in the run, like 1939, because then you will spread the primary cultures even quicker and maybe be able to start the diplomatic play before 1849. So now the German national movement is rising up, and we need a law which satisfies them and not infuriate the landowners. So we're going with oligarchy. And yeah, now they are happy again. We have spread now our primary culture to every country except Netherlands and Finland. Netherlands is the problem that we don't have enough prestige, but this will change shortly. And for Finland, we're still waiting for the time to pass because you need to have them in the power block for 5 years. Let's check if we have enough prestige. Yes, so finally only Finland is left, and we also spread it to the Dutch Indies. But they don't unify with us in a diplomatic play. Yeah, if you have gotten some more universities and also got Finland a little bit earlier, you would be able to get the diplomatic play in time before 1850, but it's fine also. We have just spread the primary culture and got the new support, and now we're able to start a diplomatic play. You could call Russia in, but since we have skirmish infantry and a lot of troops, we won't do it because they will decrease the leverage of our attack, which will cost a lot of money, but I think this is a more guaranteed way of winning the war. yeah, now we almost control of the important wargoals, which will result in France to capitulate, and then they will surrender, but we need to hurry to get all the wargoals before we will time out. And yeah, also Prussia surrendered, and yeah, we got like a little civil war in Württemberg, but for the purpose of this video, this should be fine. You're now able to form the Great Austria, and if you got Finn a little bit earlier and also Baltic states and build a lot of troops, it may be possible for France to back down. So maybe it is possible to get it before 1850.